Now that we have our CSS selectors, let's go grab those values in Python. So let's start with the city. We had used the ID of location, and then within there was a heading of H1. So what we want to do is go to this soup object here, and we'll say find. Now the options for find, there's all kinds of options we can pass here. But notice at the end, there's a ** KWArgs. And that means this method accepts keyword arguments. These are a little bit tricky to figure out what keywords you can use, but it's an alternate way of calling functions. So you can see up here, we're using what are called positional parameters. We're saying HTML is this. The second parameter is the name of the parser to use. But down here, we're going to say something different. We're going to name the parameter. So we'll say ID equals, and then the ID is going to be location. Right, so this explicitly naming the variables here lets us have more flexibility in the way and the order in which we call the function. So this is going to go get that div that contains H1, and then within there, we would like to get the actual H1 itself, and then get the text. So we can use what's called a fluent interface. This find method takes one of these soup objects, but it also returns another one that is sort of a sub-element that we can just search within the location. So we can also say now find, and the thing to pass here is actually the node. So we can just say H1 for the node. And let's just print this out. Let's call this location like that. And we just print the lock. Now remember, I told you the web was a kind of messy place. So you're going to see this doesn't come out quite as nice as you would like, but that's the web. It looks like we got Santa Ana, California. Very cool, but look at all this other stuff. This is actually just the node H1 that contained that header. If we want just the text, we can actually say .get_text. Now if I run this again, 92701 is what I had typed. Now there we go. We have Santa Ana, California, and all of this from basically from here down. This is all what came back. So we're gonna have to do some cleanup on this, but we are in a good place. This bit of text is gonna work well for us. Now let's do the others. So we can say that the condition is going to be soup.find. Remember, this is contained within a div which has the ID current condition. So we can similarly go down here and say ID equals like that. Then we can say find, and this time we're not going to name the element, but in fact we have a class wxValue. Now in Python, class is a keyword, so they use class underscore here like this, and we'll say .getText. And let's print out condition. It's overcast. Okay, let's just stop for a minute and see how awesome this is. So we went and basically 2 lines of code, came up here and we downloaded this weather forecast from the internet using requests. And then in just a handful of lines more, we created a beautiful soup which parsed the HTML, and we used the CSS selector style of fluent interface to navigate the DOM and get the text. And what we got is right now in Santa Ana, it is overcast. That is really cool. And this is all possible because of PyPI, the external packages, pip to install them. It's really wonderful. So let's go ahead and keep going, finish this up. So we got our current condition, and then we need one for the temperature. Well, we really need 2 for the temperature. So go down here, we'll say, call this temp for temperature. And wxValue, that should work for us. And then down here we'll have scale, as in the unit of measurement. So we'll go down here like this. Now let's just print those out. One way to print a series of strings is to just put them comma separated, and Python will print them out all one after another. So let's go back to Portland. So 97201. Perfect. Right now it is overcast, 8.6 degrees Celsius in Portland. How awesome is that? So the last thing to do here is some cleanup on all these strings, and then return them from this method. So we'll get to that next.